All right, we are selling at an annualized basis 5.49 existing homes per year. That is up 3% over the selling rate last month. 5.5 million units, housing units sold per year. That's the annual rate right now.
Fastest rate, Stuart, since 2007.
That's the best selling rate since 2007.
8 years.
OK, not bad. Joining us now is Collingwood Group Chairman Tim Rood, who in fact deals in real estate. Tim, welcome to the programme. That number suggests a fairly healthy housing market at this moment. Your view?
It does. I'd give it an A-. We thought it'd come in somewhere around 5.45 million. That's a strong number, even on a historical basis. As your guest just mentioned, I mean, that's the hottest we've seen since 2007. And, you know, it's a great thing. There's a couple of things that are going on that are worth mentioning is, you know, you're seeing a lot of drivers for housing in terms of people buying housing. Rents have gone hockey stick up. They're too expensive. You're seeing government programs, these 97% Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac programs where you can only put 3% down. You're seeing rates go up just enough. It's like a hot poker in the backside to get people off the fence and compelled to buy when they otherwise might be just sitting it out. So I think it's a good sign.
All right, here's my problem with the housing market and the selling pace as of right now. Only 32%, this is my understanding, only 32% of the homes purchased were purchased by first-time buyers. Usually, back in the good old days, it was 40% first-time buyers. Now it's 32%. That tells me that there's a kind of a shift in the American dream. Can I go that far?
Yeah, it's disturbing. I think aspirationally, people still have the desire to buy a house. There's two different factors. You have millennials who find themselves cash-strapped because they're paying too much for rent and data plans and cell phones, all that stuff. They don't have any money. Student loan debt, all those good things. However, then you have the minorities or new Americans who are looking at the opportunities to be a first-time homebuyer, and they're struggling with the tight credit box. They can't find the right opportunities for people to lend to them. So it stymies this kind of first-time home ownership rate around 32%, where it should be about 40. We're going in the right direction, though. It is going up.
But look, when I first came to America, this is 40 years ago, my dream was get a job and get a home. Build that house, build that, build your life around owning a home. That was very much the American dream. I suspect that there's been a cultural shift away from that. Has there? Now, what you just did was you outlined all the reasons why first-time home buyers are not in the market as much as they used to be.
Right.
And it was a financial condition. It was the down payment they couldn't get hold of. I'm talking culturally. Is it still the American dream? Buy that house, get your foot in the door and get started.
It is. I think I've seen a lot of data, and we've done our own studies to try to validate that. And you're still seeing, aspirationally, again, it's consistent with Generation X, baby boomers and such, where about 75–80% of them still think that home ownership is a good investment and something desirable. And what's great news is we were concerned that because the millennials have really been driven to the urban markets where they like the walkable amenities, their transit-oriented communities, we're like, oh man, this is going to kill the suburbs if these guys get hooked on that lifestyle. Turns out they like to rent in the urban areas, but they still want to buy in the suburbs. So that's a good sign.
OK, hold on a second, Tim. I've got Arthur Brooks with me, who I consider one of the leading conservative voices of the day, and you are, whether you like it or not. Okay?
Thank you, Stuart.
Because I just told you are.
I like it a lot.
Now, the question really applies to you. Has there been a shift in what I think of as the American dream? Buy a house and grow with America.
There has been. There is more pessimism than we've seen, particularly among millennials. But there's another point, too. Look, if you look 15, 20 years ago, what everybody knew was that housing prices only go up. And it turns out they don't always go up after 2006, 2007, 2008. So we have more rational housing decisions. And there's a good side to this, too. Not everyone should own a house. The government, for many years, was pushing everybody, poor people, middle-class people, rich people, into buying homes, many of which they couldn't afford, and that blew up the housing bubble. So if we actually see lower than ordinary rates of entry-level home ownership, that's not necessarily a bad thing for the American economy.
For the economy, yeah, but this is America,
I got
Arthur,
it. Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
that's right.
What do you think I'm here for?
I know. I'm glad you're here. I want more like you, Stuart. but we need all kinds of ownership, not just a real estate property ownership. We need an ownership society that gets into equities, that gets into not just real estate, but everything. We need ownership in our political system, for that matter.
I'm with you, Arthur. We'll get more of that in a moment. Tim Rood, I want to thank you very much indeed for being with us today. Interesting numbers on housing. 5.5 million units sold on an annualized basis. Not bad. Tim, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks.
Check